Welcome back to The Lunch Bunch. I'm Sheila Gardner, sitting in for Ryan Price today, and some might call it that it has the accessibility of a Craigslist, but for everything music and music business related. That is musiciansontour.com. I have Vicki Cousins on the line from the mainland. Welcome, Vicki.
Hi there. Thanks for having me, Sheila.
That's great. I got your news release this morning, and it sounds terrific. Why didn't we come up with this before? You were probably saying that, too, when you came up with it.
Exactly, yeah. The idea actually came from a place where we've been watching our friends who are musicians go around and try to grow their fan base, and they're struggling to find different communities and groups and people who can help them branch themselves out. So we decided, well, why aren't we making a community for these musicians, for these businesses, and these fans to kind of all come together and share information that they know?
So is this just for locals, or is this going to probably branch out to other parts of the country?
Actually, we're doing our launch July 19th for Canada only, so we're starting out more so in the main areas. So British Columbia has a large music base, so does Toronto and Ontario. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of starting out there, but it is going to become a global thing here. It's just kind of become a whirlwind of excitement. We have gotten approached by a lot of different musicians who are interested in joining on this, so it's really great.
Okay, so if I'm a musician and I'm struggling, I haven't been able to really go on tour yet, and I have a local fan base. What kinds of things will I be able to tap into once I register and get online?
Well, once you get on here, it's basically a directory full of different resources. So say you're coming from Calgary to Vancouver to do a few shows, or you want to tour around the Lower Mainland a little bit. What you're going to be able to do is connect with fans in the area who might like your music. Also, you'll be able to find a list of any venues who are looking to get gigs, and people who want to open for you, and people who are kind of willing to help you out as well. We've also come up with the idea of allowing people to post about hosting musicians, so you don't have to live in your van while you're on tour or go to a pricey hotel room that maybe you can't quite afford.
You can borrow a couch.
Exactly, yeah, like couch surfing pretty much, but the people who want to host musicians and bands in their own homes.
That would be awesome. You could get up in the morning and have your own serenade when you're there. Mm-hmm. So really, it brings everybody together. And I guess let's say you're a cafe owner and you want some music, but you have an idea of the kind of music you want. Would I be able to go online and find just the right quartet or the right mix for my venue?
Exactly. That's the point of it, is to find music that suits you, and for musicians to find venues that suit them as well.
And do you come by this honestly? Are you a musician yourself, and you found yourself in this kind of a situation? Is that your background?
What? For me, I'm mostly a music fan, but I do have a marketing background, and I have helped my fellow musician friends out from the cities that I've lived in, and getting them gigs, getting them venues, and a lot of the time they just seem pretty lost and not really sure where to start and how to get their foot in the door. And by helping these people out, I've just realized, there's so much more that a lot of musicians can't quite see because it's not right in front of their faces. So Musicians on Tour is really to get it in front of your face.
And it seems to me that most of the resources that we get nowadays are online. It's just easy to, get your laptop or your gadget that you take along with you and just, look at it and do what you need to do. So it's really at your fingertips.
Exactly. And a lot of the time, too, is when, say you're looking for a recording studio, you go ahead and you Google that. Well, you can find, the major players in your city or town, but there's a lot of little resources, too, that people just aren't quite sure of. A lot of people who do recording out of their basements even that are top-notch quality products, but you don't quite hear about them because they aren't the main player in that industry.
And how do you plan on staying afloat? Are you going to have some advertising, or how is your end going to work?
Well, we are staying afloat right now mostly through social networking. We have a Facebook fan page, and we're doing a lot on YouTube, and we also are connecting with musicians in and around who are taking it upon themselves to connect with us as well. We've done an interview actually with a band in Victoria called Calling All Wave, and we spoke to them about the trials and tribulations of going ahead and being on Twitter and Facebook and trying to connect with your fans as much as possible that way. But they're saying even then it's very difficult to find out what's the next step and to really connect with the people in the industry who are going to make a huge difference for them.
For Twitter, it's a bit sporadic. I mean, you're going to get your responses, but they could be all over the place. This kind of brings it together. Yeah.
That's definitely the point of it.
And do you think that there's a big market for this? Do you think that you're going to be able to stay on track and offer this for a while?
I think so. We're hoping to bring on new members of the team as we continue growing. Right now, there's just a handful of people on the team, but we're definitely staying on top of it, really connecting with people locally and far away as well who are getting involved. And it's really just been great. So we're hopefully going to be bringing on some more people who are just really into the idea and just really want to help out.
What are some of the other branches that you can see this expanding to? I understand that people who are maybe trying to put out a CD and they need some help. You talked about a recording studio, but let's say they're having a CD party or an event and they want to do something like that.
Well, musicians on tour definitely can help people if they come to us with the idea. We want to hold an event or a CD release party. What do you suggest? We're here to help you put those steps together. So we're definitely open for communication that way. But also, if you want to host a CD release party, you'll be able to find the venues that will allow you to do that, who have the capacity to hold that and want to help you out that way. And it'll also, since it's a huge directory, you'll be able to find people who work on CD cover art, CD production and release, stuff like that. So it's really just at your fingertips at this point.
Yeah, and you talk a little bit about in your information about really keeping some of these groups who people would normally not see because they're not the big bands and they've got the big pull around town, putting potential fans in touch with music that they may have never heard before and don't have the opportunity to really listen to it.
Well, by being able to put your music online, for one, in a specific area where your fans are looking in that area. So if you're a fan in Victoria and there's fans posting about their band in Victoria and their venues in Victoria and their gigs, you're going to be able to find out where is this music happening? Where can I become a part of it?
Now, so I guess what you're saying then is that you can actually listen to the music, see the band maybe, and decide for yourself whether it's something you want to either hire them for or go and have a further listen.
Exactly. That's the vision for it, is getting these bands connected with their venues, but also the venues to be able to have a listen and say, this is a good fit. I kind of like these guys, and have kind of the roles reversed there where maybe the venue would contact the band rather than the band contacting the venue.
Right, I see what you mean. So they can actually, the person who wants to hire them can go on and have a listen and check them out before they hire them.
Exactly, and I think that's where there's a little bit of miscommunication there. Is musicians on tour is labeled musicians on tour, but it's not just a resource for musicians. It's for businesses in the industry, or even businesses who want to maybe dabble in the industry a little bit. If you are a coffee shop and you've never had an open mic night or had someone come sit in and play an acoustic set, these are the things that you can kind of start looking about and saying, okay, well, there is a good fit. Maybe I will give this a shot.
How about if you are a slam poet or you're a comedian and you want to do something? I guess it doesn't leave them out, does it?
It doesn't really leave them out either, because those venues are there, and if you have the contact, it's only a phone call away or a click away to send an email and find out that information. And even on our end, you bringing that up actually brings us to a cool point where we can contact them as well, which is what we've been doing a lot in the past, just contacting venues and saying, are you interested in hosting anything like this? We didn't see anything on your website. What's your ideas for something like this? And getting that information so people who don't find the information directly on their website can come to Musicians on Tour and say, oh, so that place is interested in doing this sort of thing.
It almost sounds like it's subtly driving the industry in a way, because it's providing venues that may not otherwise think of having musicians or poets or comedians in to open up to that.
Well, definitely. There's a lot of places and a lot of musicians who aren't quite getting out as far as they can. And the industry is taking an interesting turn where these musicians and people are going to have to stand up for themselves. And, you can do your own recordings. You can release your own CD. You don't need to be on a record label to do that anymore. You can make a Facebook page and your own website and get all those things done for yourself. But a lot of the time, those things just are sometimes like a blind spot for some people, and they need to have that kind of put out in front of them saying, well, these are the things you can do, and they're right here.
So far, what has been the variety of people that have gotten in touch with you? Just give us, just kind of a ballpark as to what some of the acts are and some of the businesses.
Well, mostly it's been pop and rock musicians